Howdy, welcome to Dodge Brothers. The maternity pens are gone, the calves are running free, everybody's playing together. So we've got 2 heifers now and 2 bulls here at home. We've got 2 more to have calves here at the home place, and then there's 2 cows left to have calves down at Dad's. So calving season is well underway, and the end is actually in sight. Some of these won't be born until the middle of May though, so things are going to calm down here really soon. I have had quite a few questions about how this virus shutdown thing is affecting us, what the ear tags mean on the cows, a few things like that. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll address those issues. Like I've said before, we usually only leave the calves in the pens for a day or 2 or 3 with their mother. Last night when I came in to check them, I knew for sure it was time to let the last 2 out. Check out this video of this little heifer feeling great in her pen with her mother last night. Hey there, thanks for turning down my road. If this is your first time here, my name's Carl. My little brother and I both work for local farmers full time, but we both also farm together with our cattle herd and our hay operation. Everybody's involved, from the smallest to the biggest. If you don't have the joy of farming yourself, I'd love to help you experience it through this channel. Whatever your background, you found the right place. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch. What I'm going to do today while the weather's nice is I'm going to get the 8285R, which is our planter tractor, fired up, pull it out, warm it up, and change the oil, and maybe start putting the brackets and stuff in the cab that we put all of our monitors on. I'm going to stop talking and start doing. Will it start? Well, that green tractor started pretty well, so I figured I better climb up into the red tractor and just see if it was going to start as well as the green one. Because you know, it's always important to figure out which is best. Well, I guess nothing runs like a deer, does it? Now when you start taking the drain plug off this tractor, you better have your 3 buckets close by and you better be ready. Now I really like this oil filter on this John Deere tractor. For one thing, they've got it pointed down into the crankcase so that all the oil runs down and into your bucket instead of spewing all over the floor. Secondly, it's just a paper element that snaps into this plastic cup. So all you do is replace the paper element, put a new O-ring on the plastic cup, and thread it back down into the housing. Tighten it up with your torque wrench to the appropriate torque, and you're good to go. Now I can almost already feel that some of you are going to suggest that I could just lean a ladder up against the wheel here and use a longer funnel, and I wouldn't have to contort myself into this position behind the fender here to get the oil back in the engine. But then I'd have to walk and get a ladder and walk and get a longer funnel and clean it out, and that wouldn't be any fun. We'll just do it this way. Now don't worry, I'm not putting Valvoline Max Life 520 in the tractor. I'm actually just using that old jug to fill out of the bulk John Deere oil because it just fits into really tight spaces really well. I like it. And it pours nicely. It has this cool, easy pour spout on the jug. That works great. See it? It's got a spout. I've got a really important belt that needs replaced on our Haymower, and so I'm gonna hook that onto the tractor quick and get it stuck in the shop so that when I get a little free time over the next few days when the weather is just rotten, hopefully get it done. Hopefully it won't be a big deal. That's what I say about everything though. Okay, let's see if I can get him to do the leg thing. It pretty much always works. So let me show you this belt situation on this Haymower. It's quite the deal. So with this shield removed, you should be able to see we've got the PTO shaft going into the main gearbox here, and then behind this gearbox, there's a big pulley. And coming from that pulley is this belt that goes down and drives another gearbox to spin the cutter bar. Let's walk around, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you look up here, here's the gearbox that runs the cutter bar, and here's the other end of that belt. It's a really wide 4-rib belt, and you can just see it's in terrible shape. Lots of cracking. It's actually starting to come apart in a couple of spots right there. That belt has to be replaced. But to get this belt out, we have to remove this gearbox because there's no way to get that belt off the back side of that pulley because there's a shaft that goes straight through. So we've got to pull that big pulley and this gearbox off. I think it all comes to once, but maybe the gearbox comes off and the pulley stays. Anyway, I'm gonna do some learning as I go, I guess. Without taking the gearbox off. I just took the 2 mounting bolts off so that I could rotate the gearbox and get the belt around the mounts. It was not easy, and it's not going to be easy to get the new one in, but it worked. Well, a trip to the John Deere store, $178 later, and we've got ourselves a belt. Let's see if we can get this thing put on. All right, the belt project is complete. That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Now it's time to change the knives that actually do the cutting. Each one of these rotors has 2 knives on it, and those knives are not terribly expensive. Well, since these knives are only a couple bucks a piece, I'm gonna go ahead and put a whole new set on so that we can start fresh at the beginning of the season. You can see they're reversible, so you can flip them over partway through the season to extend the wear. And I'm also gonna go ahead and replace the bolts and nuts this time. Usually we do that about every 2 or 3 sets of blades. Also notice how the new knife, even though the bolt is completely tight, the knife can actually swivel and swing and move just a little bit. That's how it's supposed to be. The rest of them, the old ones have got a bunch of dirt and grime up underneath them, and they don't want to move. So I was gonna have to take them off to clean them anyway, but as you can see, there's some damage to some of these. It's best just to put the new ones on it. I've had a fair amount of questions this week about what the cow and calf ear tags mean. So let's sneak into the barn and see if we can catch a pair of them laying down together, and I'll explain it to you. Okay, here's number 177. Now, our 3-digit code that we've come up with is pretty simple. The first 2 digits, 17, that's the year she was born. This cow was born in 2017. And then the last digit is just an identifier number for the cow in our herd. And if it's odd, she's a purebred Angus, and if it's even, she's a crossbred, like a Simmental Angus or a Gelbvieh Angus. Also, we use white tags on our purebreds and yellow tags on our crossbreds, so you can tell from a distance. Now, notice on her one tag it says CT above the number. That's the initials of her father. His name was Keneally Thunder. And then on her other tag it says 155 up in the top. That is the 3-digit code of her mother. This is actually a cow that was in our herd, 155 was, and gave birth to this heifer that we kept for a cow. Now, if we would have bought this cow from somebody else, you would see some initials like JB or SV, and that just stands for the name of the farm that we bought the particular cow from. Okay, now here is her calf. His tag, H177. Obviously, 177 is the number of his mother's ear tag, so that's how we're easily able to keep them connected with their mother. And then H is actually part of a nationally recognized lettering system indicating what year the calf was born. So H stands for 2020. Last year, all of our calves had a G on their tag before their mother's number. I don't like to use the lettering system for our cows because it's too much thinking to try to remember how many letters back we are and how old a cow is when you're looking at the letter on her tag. That's why we go with the 2-digit year code at the beginning of the 3-digit code on the cow tags. What will happen with the calves? Now, this is a bull. He has a blue tag in his ear. Our heifers have pink tags in their ears this year. We've decided to try that, see if we like it. What will happen with the heifers if we decide to keep one for a cow is as soon as they're bred, we will remove their calf tag and then give them a unique cow number. So if we have one that was born this year that we want to keep as a cow, she might get a number like 202 or 204 or 205. We found that this is just really a simple way for us to keep track of our animals. Everybody has their own system that they like, but this is ours. So, one thing that people have been asking me a lot about this week is how is the whole virus shutdown thing affecting us? I gotta say thank you for caring enough to ask, wondering how we're doing. Honestly, for me, on a day-to-day basis, it's not really changing anything. I wake up, I go check the cows, get in my little truck with my coffee and go to the big farm, grind feed, work on equipment, do the things that need to be done, come back home, check the cows, and go inside to my family who has been affected quite a lot on a day-to-day basis. No school, that's huge. No evening activities, that's huge. All of the things that my wife would normally be doing, she has some meetings here and there throughout the week normally, those things are canceled. So they're home. They're mostly inside the house. The weather hasn't been great this week. Man, the economy is obviously taking it really hard. I feel horrible for some of you people who are out of work right now, just really strapped for cash. If you know of anybody that you can help, buy them some groceries, or maybe they just can't get out of their house because they're older or not in great health and they're not able to get out and they're afraid to go places. Everybody's helping each other out, and I hope you can take part in that as well. The ag economy, just like the rest of the economy, is suffering big time. Corn, soybeans, cattle, hogs, all these prices are in the tank right now. They haven't been great in recent times, but they're pretty bad right now. Hopefully things don't drag on too long, because obviously the longer this plays out this way, the harder it's going to be for the economy to come back. It's changed a lot of our plans. Even on Wednesday nights, we normally go to church and lead the high school youth group. That's not happening in person right now. We're not having church services on the weekend, and we're not getting together with the little group of people that we always have lunch with and talk with after church. So socially, it's pretty isolating. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going through the exact same thing as well. One weird kind of cool thing, though, is we've been home every night this week with nothing to do, nowhere to go. So we've had family game nights and family movie nights, done things together that we haven't had time to do in a while. So I hope you're doing okay as well. Thank you for caring about us and wondering how we're doing. Hey, I have a great idea. If you're home and bored with nothing to do, which a lot of you probably are, go back and check out some of the older content on the Dodge Brothers channel right here on the YouTube. You see, if you're new here in the last couple of months, there's a lot of videos from last harvest, the harvest before, planting, and haymaking in between that you probably haven't seen yet. So there's a lot of entertainment waiting at your fingertips. As always, thanks for tagging along. I'll see you next week.